Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the People Person podcast presented by Good Time Media. I am your host, Wyatt, and today I am joined by Bachelorette and Bachelor in Paradise alum and musician, Logan Seagull. Logan, how you doing today?
Feeling good. How you doing, Wyatt?
I'm doing all right. Now, I was going to ask, so you had the hat on today, but you've recently gone buzz cut. How
Yeah.
long?
Can we
I,
show it off here?
if you want to, this will be on YouTube too, so you treats the fan. What was the some people probably haven't seen you since the show.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration behind the cut?
Um, so it was kind of just like, not to be cliche, but start of the new year. Been rocking the long hair for so long. I wanted a fresh start, new chapter. I kind of just ran the clippers through it, and it was kind of a Britney Spears moment. Just kind of decided to chop it all off in one swoop, and I like it. You don't worry about it in the morning. Just wash your face and get on with your day.
I'm always
So
jealous. I'm always jealous of people who can do that because that's one thing. I wish my one invention I want people to have or create down the road is for you can stop hair growth. So at some point, your hair gets to a point where like I like this length. I wish you could just stop it right there, and then but
just
like instead of keep getting haircuts over and over again. Because with guys, I feel like we have a 2 week window where hair looks good, and then you have to get a
that's
haircut.
that's true, but the kind of ritual of getting a haircut and the camaraderie you feel with your barber, you want to get rid of that completely.
Well, okay, so I do love my ladies over at Great Clips, the little $13 haircut I'm getting at Great
Right.
Clips. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm they don't have to do anything crazy. I do enjoy that small talk, but it would be nice to just like, all right, this looks good. Let's just hold on to this forever. But that
Dude,
seems like a pipe dream.
I gotta go to your Great Clips. I have a hard time believing that's a Great Clips clip. That's a great
Oh,
one right there.
I'm due. I'm very much due. And my problem is I put it off for like a week. So I need to get in there soon. So this might motivate me.
Dude, great clips. You like roll the dice. I feel like whoever you get, like you could ruin your day or you could look great, but
Yeah,
it's a gamble.
they've treated me well, and I've gone to the same one. So they kind of it's one of those things where they don't know me, but they recognize me. Where because
Yeah.
so they're like, "Oh, what do you do again?" And then as soon as I tell them, like, "Oh yeah, you're that kid, TikTok, right?" And I'm like, "Oh, stop it, dude, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna." I want to get to a point where I just start making up stuff when I go to the barber and just be like, I don't know, just make up what I'm doing, just keep people on their toes. But we'll see.
Dude, all I've ever wanted is to be recognized at like a restaurant I go to or like a barber shop and just be like, oh, I'll take the regular, but it never
Yeah.
happens, man. It
Get like
never
a
happens.
menu item named after you, like you go there so much, that would be cool. That'd be a cool
Now,
experience.
actually, you watch Paradise, right?
Yeah.
I accidentally called Lace loose.
Yeah.
And coffee shop, I got tagged in a post last week. They named a coffee after it. They
No
named it
way.
yeah, it's called like the Loose Latte, and
Okay.
it's named after my baffling stumbling
That's
moment.
okay. I was gonna get to that, but I will talk about that. I watched that and I watched that back today too, just in preparation. What gave you the confidence to guess? Because me in that situation, it was clear you didn't know her name.
It's
I
clear.
could you could see it in your eyes. You didn't know, and you were searching. But at some point, you just had the confidence to like guess. Which for
Yeah.
me, I would have just like held on to that and maybe use context clues. What gave you the balls to be like, I'm just gonna try, see if this is it?
Yeah. So I knew I was too far in to ask, right? If you
Yeah,
have already sang someone happy birthday, if you've already talked about your hopes and dreams and everything else, you can't go back to, oh, what was your name again? So that's out of the question, right?
oh yeah,
I did hear uh I heard Wells say something with an L that was like one syllable.
yeah.
And I thought it was loose, short for Lucy. So I was just like, batter up. Let's send
That's
it.
just not a short name that people use, but yeah,
Right.
loose is never used.
I don't know. I feel like if someone's like, oh, Lucy, loose, like,
Loose.
oh, Miss Loose, Lucy lady. I don't know. It's like it felt like maybe it would be possible. So I just went for it and didn't quite land. But
Happens. It is really funny looking back because you can tell knowing you don't know her name throughout the whole beginning part of that is so funny to me because like you can tell like the gears are turning and like you realize you've backed yourself in a corner.
Yeah.
And then I kind of respect having the balls to just guess because I would have found a way around it and just taken that to my grave and then ask one of the other people later.
Well, so what do you go with there? I got to go to the bathroom, or like, what would you go with? How do you
Like,
get out of it,
I think you just throw in like general terms like girl
buddy?
or
Like,
buddy or
but
like pal. And you don't, and then see, like, what did you do when you sung Happy Birthday? I can't remember because that's a
okay,
name song.
so oh yeah, it's a bad setup. So when it instead of saying happy birthday to Lace, happy birthday
Yeah.
to you, I actually said happy birthday to 32 years old. Happy birthday to you.
Dude. I think
I
that
kind
was
of
the
just
moment. Yeah.
I played it off like I didn't know the words to the song Happy Birthday, kind of,
Yeah.
just to avoid further having to say her
But
name.
that's my point is you knew you didn't know it. So then
I knew
why
I didn't know
then
it. Yeah.
why get like you did the effort to go around it in the happy birthday song and then
Yeah.
you loop back you're like fuck it. Like
Yeah.
let's all right, fair enough.
It got to that point where I was like, you know what? I've come this far, do or die.
Fair enough.
Loose?
That would have been awesome if you were right. That would be really cool. And then no one would have known that you were struggling that whole time.
No, they would have just thought I was like having a heat stroke or
Yeah.
something. They would have never known.
All right, I want to back up a little bit now. This is something you talked about. I think you mentioned it on air before, but I want to hear more about it. When you moved to California, you said,
Mhm.
I want to start this career in film, eventually, I believe, TV news. But what spawned that idea, that move? Was it kind of post college, just let's try some stuff? Or was this kind of a lifelong goal of yours?
You know what? I've always been a creator. I've always had a passion for film and photography and music. And I grew up in Arizona. I played college football at Northern Arizona University, and I graduated and did exactly what everyone's supposed to do when you graduate right off the bat, get a job at an agency. And dude, it just wasn't filling my cup. I was like, I need to be around other creative people.
Mm-hmm.
I can't just kind of like fill out spreadsheets and do this same thing every day. I want to take a chance, and I want to try something that's unlikely and difficult. And even if I fail, I'm going to bet on myself. So I actually just picked a random date. I was like, okay, well, I'll move to California like June 14th. And I just had one trip with my car. I sold most of my stuff. I had 3 guitars. I sold 2 of them, kept one, put everything in one trip in my car, and moved to San Diego. I was sleeping on a couch for a
Hell
while.
yeah.
I was walking dogs to begin with, just for like a month, and I ended up getting a job at a news station. All my camera skills were self-taught, YouTube University.
Yeah.
I got a job at a news station as a PA, just an assistant. And soon enough, probably 2 months in, one of their cameramen quit. They were struggling because it was like things were heating up, right? 2020 was approaching, and all the
Yeah.
news cycles in that era. And they were like, we need a guy like next week. And I was like, hey, I didn't go to college for it, but like, I have some videos, check out my profile. And they're like, okay, we're going to put you to the test. We're going to give you an editing test and a camera test. If you pass, we'll see if we can make something work. Uh, Nailed the test. Just barely. I just barely finished the test in time, and they gave me a job as a cameraman. And for 2 years, I was a news cameraman here in San Diego. After that, I was a Padres cameraman for
Oh,
the San
sweet.
Diego Padres, and then I was a studio cameraman for an advertising agency here in town. Um,
Nice.
yeah, it just started connecting me with a lot of different people, and not just in film and photography. I mean, I just started to meet creators, people who wanted to start their own podcast, people who played music, people who did stand-up comedy. It was just like this whole society of people that I wasn't in contact with back in
Mm-hmm.
Arizona.
Yeah.
So it was totally worth it. And then I went on the show, and that's only um, connected me with more people
Yeah.
who are creative people and artists. So
Yeah. Have you seen the movie Nightcrawler?
Yeah, I was just like that,
I was
man.
gonna say, is that your inspiration? You know, a little Gyllenhaal action, a little cameraman. I mean,
Dude,
it's kind of
it's
darker, but
well, it was a dark job. Not to be a
yeah,
bummer, but that's one of the reasons I couldn't do it anymore.
really.
I saw some like insane stuff where I was like, there's no way I'm qualified
Huh.
to be on this crime scene or like see this stuff I'm seeing. I'm like, it was kind of wild. I saw some like crazy stuff, and it was 2020. So
Yeah.
like I was on the front lines when everything was hitting the fan and I was just like in the middle of all the chaos. So
Huh.
it felt like an important thing, right? If I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm in news in the most insane time in my generation. And I get to be on the front lines covering it, which felt important, but it was also a bummer.
Yeah. I was gonna say, is there like any kind of like morality where like I'm sitting here like filming this, like kind of maybe whatever like shitty stuff's going on? Like it was like kind of internal, like why am I here holding a camera to this when like maybe I could be doing something differently? Did you have to deal with that at all?
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. I had a press pass to get onto crime scenes of homicides and etc. Right in front of a forest fire, flames going up in front of me and bodies and just
Ugh.
crazy stuff where I was like, whoa, I was walking dogs like a month ago.
Yeah.
I'm not really helping here. I'm kind of just like getting b-roll and like I don't feel like I'm contributing to making this better. I'm just
Yeah.
like so it's kind of a weird thing where morale wise on if I belong here or if this is doing good or harm. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, that's got to be difficult because like it is an important job to cover those things so people know about it. But I can imagine like in the midst of it, you feel like, is this really important right now? Like there's a serious matter happening. But then at the end of the day, I think it does make a difference to have coverage and like people need to see that stuff. But I can
Yeah.
imagine that's difficult because you're like, I'm holding a camera, like I'm doing this, and like not to diminish that at all, but like in the scheme of the situations, I can imagine that can feel kind of disorienting.
No, you're right. I had that same kind of quandary, and
Yeah.
I love the news industry, and I think a lot of it is necessary, even though you don't feel it in the moment. Like
Yeah.
if you cover, maybe you cover a car accident where someone was under the influence and it's ugly and you're like I don't feel like I should be here, but maybe someone watches it and they keeps them from making a
Yeah.
mistake, so maybe it's helping. You just gotta, there's stuff that we don't really see that gets through to people,
Yeah.
so
Oh, 100%.
not to be a bummer.
Yeah, I was gonna say now we can move to a lighter process. What
Yeah.
so talk about this show, the process of getting on there. Did you throw in an application or were you nominated? How did that work?
Yeah, I was nominated, but it's funny because I don't like to use that as an excuse. Sometimes people are, even myself, have been like, well, I was nominated, so I just did
Yeah.
it. But like, even if you're nominated, it's a long process to get on the show, and you have to put in a lot of effort to do a ton of interviews and show up in person and shake hands and stuff. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I was nominated at first, and I was like, what an adventure, right?
Yeah.
From what I've been telling you, I'm just like looking for something that feels like I'm alive and that's exciting. So I was like, what a fun adventure. I'm not really like a huge watcher of the show. I've seen a little bit, but like this could be so fun. And I love film, I love TV. So I'm single and like I'm looking for a girlfriend and looking
Yeah.
for someone to settle down with. So it's perfect. So I went for it.
And so you're going to a season with two bachelorettes.
Mhm.
How so since you're not familiar with the show, did you realize that that was out of the ordinary or were you like, "Oh, this is just how it goes?"
No, yeah, I knew the basic structure of the
Yeah.
show, and I knew, I had watched Clayton season, and I was told that keep an eye out. Who knows who the next Bachelorette will be? Who are you hoping for? Stay in touch, keep watching. And then when it was announced there was two, I was like, I had all the same questions everyone else did.
Yeah.
How's this gonna work? Are they going to choose? Do we have like a meet and greet and then we split up, or is it like the, all,
Yeah.
everyone in one room at once? I had all the same questions that everyone else had and people still have.
I was gonna say, I don't know. Some of those questions feel like they were just never answered. It was day by day. But I guess from your perspective, you were maybe like, hey, better odds. There's two of them.
Well,
Better chances of finding the
I mean,
one.
I mean, I don't know if I'd say odds, but like
Yeah.
it kind of bit me in the butt. You know what I mean? Like the idea of um having two people to get to know and two people to, you can only be sure of one. And at the end of the day, we're talking about a real engagement. I
Yeah.
mean, as fun as the show is, like these people on the screen are actually getting down on a knee. So when you're like, it's not just like, well, this one's cute, I'll go with this
Yeah.
one. It's like there's a lot to consider, there's a lot to think about. So I really did try to like get to know each of them and kind of take into consideration what it would be like to be with someone for a long time.
Yeah, it's interesting because normally, obviously, there's a lot of talk about like the time frame. Such a quick time frame to meet not only one lead and see if they're the person for you, but now you have to juggle two. So I feel like they probably should have allowed for a longer time frame there, just so you have time to meet both of them and actually make that decision because you're basically splitting your time in half at the beginning, trying to figure out both.
Yeah, I mean it's hard for everyone. It's hard for
Yeah.
them too.
Yeah.
They had to like split up very quickly too. And after talking to us for very short amounts of time, so really there was a lot of opportunity for error on my part, on their part. There was a lot of like opportunities to make mistakes, you know.
Yeah. And now the COVID situation when you had to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So basically you test positive with COVID, then they're like, all right, sorry, you gotta go. Like, was there an option to like stick around or how did that go behind the scenes as much as you can say?
Yeah, well, first off, the COVID thing haunts me to this day. People off the street, at bars, at coffee shops,
I
on the
bet.
boardwalk will just be like, Logan, did you really get COVID? And then no one believes that it happened, but it did. So I didn't have any symptoms. I wasn't like, fainting, or I didn't have any sore throat or anything like that. But we got tested very often. The show was very good about being safe. And I came up with a positive test along with a couple people who worked behind the scenes. And they quarantined me. They were great about, following all the rules. And it was very late in the game, if you remember.
Yeah.
There was like five of us left for Gabby,
Mhm.
and I had so little time with her at that point. So I knew, I was like, okay, these guys have had 4 weeks with her. I've had like 3 moments of sitting down, being able to talk to her, but I really like her. I would love for her to meet my mom. I thought at that time I was like they would get along so great. But I got COVID, right? And I'm sitting in my room, I'm quarantined, I'm scared. I'm like, what does this mean? I miss my friends because I'd gotten so close to the guys.
Yeah.
I was lonely in there. And basically, they gave Gabby kind of the update. And they basically told her, like, hey, we can go about this a couple ways. Logan is really sick. If you are like, if you were all in and you're like, Logan needs to be part of this, and we can hold off and wait until he's better, then maybe that's something we can work out. Uh, if you're not as sure as that, then we will put him in, you know, put him on the way out. So
Hmm.
she basically eliminated me
Yeah.
by saying like Logan's he's been great, but I don't think we can hold off the show for him. I don't think it's to that point yet, which I understood because I was like, well, given the circumstance, I
Yeah.
never really had the opportunity to like go on a one with her or even like a real group date with her. So I understood, but it sucked, man. I put a lot on the line
Mhm.
before that, so
And then how easy was it to kind of regroup and say, you know what, I'm gonna try this thing again? I didn't really, almost like you didn't get a fair shot because like other outside circumstances. Then were you very open about the idea of paradise, or was it kind of a long thought process to kind of put yourself out there again?
um I was open to it, but I needed time. Um I think because I really didn't watch the show much, and I hadn't watched my season back before I went to Paradise. I went into it blind,
Mhm.
and I was just such a fresh, like I had a fresh look at everything because of how naive I was. Um, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean like I really acted as if, I was like, well, what would it be like to get engaged to one of these people? What would it be like
Yeah.
to be with one of these people for a long time? I don't know any of the tricks of the trade. I don't know any of the how any of this really works. And I really liked the fact that I was kind of like new to it like that. And when I went into Gabby and Rachel's season, I acted accordingly. I just kind of was honest and open and tried to be real. And I think some people appreciated it who watched, and some people didn't like it so much. But when I got when I got eliminated, like
Yeah.
ejector seat or whatever, when I got eliminated with COVID, I needed time to like kind of get my sanity back because that was such a
Yeah.
roller coaster. But after like 3 weeks, I given it some thought. I was like, you know what? I've already kind of put my life at home on hold. I do feel like I didn't quite get a fair shake, so let's give it another shot. And I decided to go back.
What months did that film? Because I always think in the process of I'm like always on my phone. It's bad, but like when you're detached from the world for that long, I'd be like, did I miss the NBA Finals? Am I missing like a Super Bowl? Like did something big happen?
Yeah.
What was the time frame of that? And did you miss anything? Like, damn, I wish I was there watching that live.
Yeah, we missed a ton of sporting events, and we missed like the like whole like international relations kind of issues going on that
Yeah.
felt so heavy and important, and we were just like living our little lives, like drinking wine on set, just oblivious to all of
Yeah.
it. um but you know what's interesting is like you're so concerned with it for like probably a week,
Hmm.
like, oh, what's the score of the big game, like, oh,
Yeah.
what's the newest headline about this crazy thing happening in the world. Once you're out of it for like a week, you're like, well, it's not really affecting my
Yeah.
life. Things seem to be okay for now. I mean, let me know if something crazy happens, but you become more in the moment, which is
Yeah.
good and bad, right? You want to be informed, you want to be educated, but it's kind of nice to step away from it and be like, oh, well, I didn't really think about it today. No matter what it is, whether it's like, oh, the Eagles lost the Super Bowl, or whether it's like, oh, did you hear? I remember the Will Smith thing happened when I was
Oh
in.
yeah.
Yeah. So actually, like the Will Smith thing happened and no one knew about it. And then like one of us was shown a video from like, behind the scenes person, just like, whoa, look at this. Will Smith slapped a guy. And we were like, what? Like, what's happening in the world? Will Smith went on stage and backhanded a guy.
That's
Like, this is
awesome.
what, like,
Gosh.
um, it's nice to be detached for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's gotta feel really good. I can imagine to knowing like, oh, I can step away from like my day to day life for however long is filming, and then I can return and like my world's not burning to the ground. Like stuff's still
Yes.
normal. To have that, not a lot of people have that ability to be able to step away for
Totally.
extended and like completely detach, disconnect, which I think would be really healthy for a lot of people. It'd be healthy for me. I need that to like step away, but because I'm always like go, 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 it's hard to step away. So you were kind of forced to through this cool opportunity, but I'm sure that was
Yeah.
kind of almost therapeutic to detach for a little bit.
And there's almost a relapse after, because like
Oh yeah,
if you
I can
put it in
imagine.
numbers, like I filmed for 2 months Bachelorette and 1 month for Paradise. That's a quarter of the year with no phone, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then all of a sudden, like you have your phone back and you have 1,000 notifications because people see you're on the show, and you're just like, oh, just
Yeah,
consuming information because you miss it.
yeah,
But yeah,
interesting.
someone has to take this thing away from me sometimes just because it's so easy to get sucked into it.
Oh yeah,
But trying to get better.
for sure. All right, two more quick bachelor related questions, and we'll get into some music. Is the door still open to return?
There's
Hook up.
there's one person in Bachelor Nation who I like maybe would consider for.
You can't say that and not give me a name.
I'm not going to, man.
Dude,
I
come
can't even
on.
give it away.
Come on.
Uh
Is it someone you don't have to say who? Is it because I've had a lot of people on this show. Um Is it someone from the past like 2 seasons? Which would be what?
It's someone from season 2. I'm just kidding.
Season two. I was like, dude, I wasn't born. I wasn't born in season
Like
two.
doing the math, you're like
Yeah.
season 2.
There's someone like
Yeah, it
recent.
is. It's someone recent. But I think overall my general answer would be no. And I haven't been asked, so it's like I don't want to play the what if game.
I'm gonna figure out who this is. I'm just gonna do some. Ah, damn it. All right. I won't push too hard, but my next follow-up question could actually be your answer here. So this could be interesting. But last Bachelor question, it's a new segment I want to start called Say Something Nice About My Friends. So my friend, you were on the beach with her for a little bit. So maybe
Oh,
this is the girl you're talking about. Her name's Brittany, friend of the
yeah.
program. She's been on the show. Was it Brittany, the girl you're talking about?
It's not Brittany. Brittany's
Ah,
great though.
I was gonna say, yeah, that say something nice about my friend Brittany.
Okay, Brittany has a very clever sense of humor. She will slip in kind of a sly, like very dry, sarcastic joke. And if you're not like informed on like getting to know her, then you
Hmm.
might think she's serious. But like I love her sense of humor. You can see it on TikTok too.
Yeah,
She's pretty good with like the innuendos and like dry humor. So her comedy game is top notch. I love that about Brittany.
good. All right, good. We love Brittany here. And now next time I have someone who you knew on the show, I'll have them say something nice about you. We're just gonna keep the cycle going.
Perfect.
You're
Actually,
yeah.
double up. Make them say
Two
6 things.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
just keep going. Just by the
Yeah,
it's gonna be like you're gonna come on next year and it's like, all right, name 24 things you like
yeah,
about
yeah.
this person.
Doubly give it to the next person.
If you want that girl to be Brittany, I'll do my best to set that up. By the way, I'll make it
Perfect.
happen. I'm a matchmaker here.
Really?
I take credit for. I don't know if you know Connor Saley at all. Connor S.
I
He
don't
was
know
on.
Connor.
He was. Yeah, I guess you didn't watch the show, but he is now dating this girl named Jenna, who was a big TikToker. I had them both on the show back to back weeks before they were dating, and I gassed them up. I said, "Hey, like you guys, like they've been flirting back and forth on TikTok." 2 weeks later, they were dating. They've never openly given me credit, but I'm taking credit. So
This
one
is
for
your
one.
opportunity, man.
Yeah.
You're just like, hey, that was
I'll
me.
set it to Brittany. I'll set that up, or just tell me who the girl is, and then I can start working my magic. But
I
now
have
I'm
too
just
much pride, bro. I can't say it, okay?
I can respect
What
that.
if she doesn't like me? I'm just
I
kidding.
gotta let you cook. I gotta let you cook for a little
Yeah,
bit, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
if you need help down the road, call in the reinforcements, and then I'll
I
do my
will,
thing.
dude. I think that's a
Perfect.
good plan.
All right, now let's move on to your music. So I think an interesting thing I thought about is you kind of opened yourself up to just kind of be very vulnerable when you go on reality television. And a lot of artists I've talked to, musicians, talk about like putting out music and songs is the same kind of feeling where it's kind of therapeutic, but you're being very vulnerable. Did you was it easier to put out music having gone through that experience where you're like, I've already kind of opened myself up. I can experience that same kind of vulnerability.
Yeah, I mean, I had gone on the Bachelorette and I had danced around in a Speedo. I had been slapped with a raw fish in the face on national TV in front of 5 million people. I had people call me terrible names online, and it's just like I had kind of reached this point where I was like, dude, I got nothing to lose. Like I've shown my whole self for better or for worse to the world.
Yeah.
I love making music, and I think releasing music is one of the scariest things you can do. You're showing
Mm-hmm.
such a big part of your soul that is, and if it's not received well, it hurts.
Yeah.
So it's respect to anyone who's able to just like put something out there and be like, this is me.
And how long has that been kind of a goal of yours? Was it something you kind of put on the back burner for a while and then you're at the point where like, you know what? It's now or never. Like, might as well give this thing a shot. Let's do this.
So admittingly, I released music before I was on the show.
Oh, really?
I released one EP called Deep Yellow. Um, and I got the call about the show and I got nervous, man. I got nervous. I was like, I like the album, but I don't know what people think about me. That's just me being honest, man. I got
Yeah.
nervous, I got
Yeah.
cold feet, and I took the album down.
Wow.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and then I went through those 2 seasons, and I was like, man, screw this. Like, what was I worried about people thinking about me? They're gonna judge me either way. I want to release 2 songs that I've written and see what happens. Um, and to my surprise, people really liked them and they resonated with people, and it was received in a way that was better than I could have hoped.
Yeah.
So I was
I'll
very grateful for that.
because I was gonna ask why, like, because it seemed like it was a conscious choice to not bring up music and stuff while you're on the show, which I assumed it was you didn't want to come across as, oh, I'm just trying to promote music here. But it sounds like it was just coming from the place of like, I wasn't like mentally ready for people to do this, or for whatever reason, you kind of just, and that's very like real feeling of like, all right, now I'm gonna open myself up. Maybe I want to hold on to this for a little bit longer.
Now, to be honest with you, it was both. I
Okay.
mean, I was not going to go on a reality show
Just
promoting something. Like I don't know, you've seen other people do it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's although I respect, seizing an opportunity, I was like, I already told you, like I was going into it trying to be as real as possible. Like I was going into it as if I was really trying to date someone in real life. And if I went on a date with someone in real life, I wouldn't be like, new singles, go stream it now.
Yeah.
Logan Seagull on Spotify and Apple Music. Like I didn't want to promote anything. I didn't want to come
Yeah.
across as someone who was trying to put a banner up to go stream my music. So
Mhm.
I would have never advertised it, even if I had 3 albums out. I would have never
Yeah.
said anything.
That's cool. No, I think a lot of people can appreciate that because that is the big narrative with the show now. Every single person on is like, are they there to promote something, Instagram followers, whatever. So I think that's
Yeah.
kind of cool that you kind of kept that under wraps, whether it's a variety of reasons or not. I think that's kind of cool. You have a song called "You Never Called Me on My Birthday."
Yeah.
Now, it's been a highly debated topic on this particular podcast. What do you feel about texting exes happy birthday? Are you pro or con?
Man. Well, that song's about wanting to receive the text
Yeah.
or receive the call. Um, I don't know. I don't know if any of my exes would want to hear from me. I feel like it's such a fine line. Sometimes, like me, you're dying to get the call, you're dying to get the text, right? Because if they're
Mhm.
gonna do it, it's gonna be on your birthday.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't send the text, man. I don't. Maybe I got too
You
much
don't?
pride. Maybe
Interesting.
I just don't have that kind of relationship with my exes. But I've never kind of reached out just to say
Okay.
happy birthday. Um, but I've
Interesting.
hoped for it myself, ironically.
Yeah, I think that's pretty real where it's like, yeah, you'd feel good to have that text. I personally send that text, but I've all on the record of saying it depends on the relationship.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's very clearly like we're just gonna go separate ways. Um, and sometimes it's like, hey, you just kind of rooting for each other from afar, might as well. And it's not like a deliberate. People got mad at me like, oh, you're still in love with your ex. I'm like, no, I'm just saying I'm not doing like putting in my calendar. I'm just saying if it show
Uh,
if it shows up on your feed and you see like, oh, it's their birthday, might as well, hey, happy birthday, hope you're doing well.
I don't
Stop,
know.
stop. Why do I get
I
this
don't think
look?
so. I don't think so, dude. I
No.
think if you send a happy birthday, I mean, that's what the song's about. It's like
Yeah.
hoping that they say it because if they say happy birthday, it means there's still something there.
You
And
and gosh, everyone attacks me on this issue. I don't
I
think
think
it's
you're on the wrong side
it's
of this one,
it's not
dude.
that deep. It's just not that deep.
It is that deep.
It's never been. It's never been that deep. Whatever. Katie, so
It's
Katie Thurston's the one who brought up this argument. She's the one who came on and just fought me to death and
I'm
basically belittled me. Like, you child, you're immature. I was like, come on,
uh
Katie. Just
I'm
have
going
some
to Katie's
respect.
comedy show tonight,
Are you
actually.
really?
Yeah.
No way. Please let me know how it goes because I'm rooting for Katie. I love Katie. Another friend of the program. Say something nice about Katie. New segment. Say something nice about Katie.
Katie's pursuing a dream. That's a really hard dream to pursue, and she seems to be doing great.
Yeah.
So cheers.
Yeah, no, she's great. I'm hoping to get her back on here soon because That'll be fun. Talk more about comedy.
Well,
But
I agree with Katie. I think if you send or call on your ex's birthday, that means the spark hasn't died. That's what it means.
what if it's like, no, I'm not even gonna try it because the more I try to defend myself, the more it's gonna feel like I'm like deflecting. So I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna do that. So coming up, what's the next like year look like for you music wise? Are you just in a writing mode? Are you? I want to put out as much music as possible. Where are you at? What's the
I'm on the
mindset?
last moments of finishing touches on an EP that I'm gonna be
Let's
dropping in the next month.
go. Woo!
Yeah, it's a EP. It's gonna be called See You Never.
All right.
It's gonna be dropping in the next month. Just gotta put the finishing touches on it. I'm really excited though.
How what's that feeling like when you kind of you finish something and it's kind of I have this argument with like songwriters where as soon as I finish something, I'm like, I want to put this out right away. As soon as I
Mhm.
finish a video, a podcast, I want to just get it out there. How is it kind of wrestling? Like, I have this cool thing, I want to put it out. Like, is there like an anxiety with it, or is I
I
need to
have
take
this
my time?
No, I have the same feeling. Whenever
Yeah.
I record even just like one chorus that I think is dope,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this has to be finished and released like tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's hard to sit on some stuff and be patient, but it's a good skill to learn. So I'm trying to just refine
Yeah.
things, you know.
Yeah, I've given up on myself finding patience. I just don't have it, and I'll record a video, put up on TikTok that day. This podcast will be out on Monday. Like I just need a quick turnaround,
Yeah.
quick fix. I just like I've kind of accepted that's how I am. I know I could never do music mostly because I'm not talented in that way, but also I don't have the patience for it. I couldn't sit on a song that I think is good for any amount of time.
There's a fine line though, right? I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
have friends who have written incredible music or have an insane knack for an art form, and they just like kind of toy and refine and rewrite and redo, and
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's not quite ready, and then a year goes by and you're like, dude,
Just put it
you
out
could
there.
have
Yeah.
people would have loved it even if it was the first version. Like, gotta do something here, you know what I mean? So there's
Yeah.
like a line somewhere there where it's like perfection versus instant
Yeah.
gratification, you know?
Yeah, it's I got everything kind of in moderation. You need
Yeah.
that. You need that balance, I think. So that's a good point. All right, I want to run through some ideas with you that I've had. I'm always just trying to help guests,
Love
forward
it.
their career, all this stuff. So you can just give me your thoughts on these ideas.
Okay.
First one, a song title based off your mishap on Bachelor in Paradise. You call it Loose Screws, like Luce, and it can be a song about like maybe you don't have closure with this person, like you got a couple screws loose, and you play off your Bachelor in Paradise experience of messing up the name. You spell
Right.
it like that, Loose Screws. What are your thoughts
Yeah.
there?
It kind of sounds like screws is like a verb, and
Yeah,
like I'm talking about loose, like
you
the
could
kind of
do that
double
too.
entendre.
You could go there.
You could also go with like loose cannon,
Yeah,
you know? That's a good one too. Yeah, I could do something with that. I'm friends with Lace. I can, maybe she can just break my
yeah.
heart and I can get some inspiration real
Yeah, or
quick.
she can feature on the song too. It can be
Or
like a
she can be on
duet.
the
It can be a
song.
duet.
Yeah,
All right,
I love that.
just an idea. All right, here's another idea. To prove that you're not broke, which was
Mhm.
somehow a narrative,
Right.
you should send me a bunch of money and then I'll just talk about it all the time on every episode. Of like, hey, remember that one time sent me a lot of money? That was cool.
Yeah, you're like, hey, it's really weird. Everyone's saying this guy's broke. He sent me $17 in the mail.
Yeah, like, oh, people like Logan doesn't have money. Well, how about this $10,000 new studio I have funded?
Yeah,
So
you're like, oh, everyone says he's broke. Explain this jar of nickels he sent
yeah,
me.
exactly. Stuff like that. So just an idea. If you want to send me some stuff, I will gladly talk about it all the time.
Yeah, dude, I think that's probably the last thing I'll do.
Okay.
But if you want to lie,
Yeah.
tell people I just bought you a new hoverboard, or
Yeah.
I like stole a bird scooter and gave it to you
I
or
could do
something.
that. Yeah. Every time I buy new equipment for the studio, I'm like, oh, shout out Logan again. Just
Yeah.
just sending me more stuff. I can't
New
wait.
keyboard, not
Yeah.
too bad.
Can't wait to use it. All right. Last idea I have for you. Album title. So you should talk about EP. You got that squared away. When I'm thinking album, you should
Yeah.
title it the movie. So then when people Google, they're looking for the Wolverine movie, Logan. They'll type
Logan the
in Logan the
movie.
movie, and then your album shows up. Quick clicks, easy clicks.
SEO, dude. You're a
Yeah, big.
marketing
I do all
genius.
over it. I'm all over that SEO.
Yeah. Yeah. Or just call it like Logan Bachelorette, like season 19. Just like,
Yeah,
yeah,
hit all
perfect.
the buzzwords. Hit all the buzzwords.
All the buzzwords loose. Logan, season
Yeah,
19, Bachelorette.
Wolverine. Add Wolverine in there, so when they're searching just Logan, it pops up.
Yeah.
Just an
Yeah.
idea.
No,
All
you're a
right.
genius, man. You could be my new agent.
I literally, hey, let me know. You send me money, I will be your agent. There we go. We figured
There
it
you
out.
go.
Okay. Well, then, last question I have for you. This question I ask everyone who comes on here. You can answer it however you want, whatever comes to your mind. But what gets you up in the morning?
What gets me up in the morning is well, my first reaction is Alexa.
Shut
She's a
up. Your Alexa is your alarm?
Yeah, she's in the room with us right now.
Wow.
She usually wakes me up. She plays nice like rain noises and stuff. Very subtle awakening.
She sounds cute.
Uh, but what gets me going, I think, is dude, there's just a drive to like progress. A drive to like at the end of the year have a list of things I like accomplished and that I'm proud of. Right now, I got none of them done, so I got a lot of work to do. So
Yeah,
checking things off the list.
I like that. Do you have an actual list written down?
No,
Or
I
is it
should
just
write a
mentally?
physical list. I should
Yeah.
do it on like a scroll or something
Yeah.
cool.
When you just like roll it out and have like
That
a feather that you
Yeah.
use to cross stuff off. That'd be
And
cool.
then when I finish it, I burn it.
Yeah, you have like or do like a Viking funeral for it. You put it and like push it out into the river and then bow and arrow it and just
Yeah, into the ocean off
yeah,
the pier.
that's exactly what you need to do. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
man. I'll be arrested, but like
Yeah,
for the
it's
it'll
worth
be
it.
cool. Yeah, if we
Yeah,
get some footage, it's
e-
worth it.
exactly. All right, well, go ahead. Let people know where they can find you, where they should check out your music, and kind of what's to come.
Yeah, so if you guys want to check out my music, it's Logan Seagull, all streaming platforms and YouTube. See You Never, my EP dropping in the next month. So keep an eye out. Follow me on Instagram, Logan Seagull. And hopefully you like what you hear.
Sweet. Well, hey, thanks so much, Logan, for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it was fun. Thanks for having me.